My name is David Brown. I have a blog called The Trinity Troodon and this YouTube channel. It's been a little while since I did a video here, and I'm doing this for a kind of unboxing. I already had gotten the stuff out but not assembled it. This is a Marx Moonship, or a loose reproduction of it. I'll be going over that. I had ordered this off eBay. What it turned out to be was an unassembled sort of kit, so I'll go over that. And I'll introduce also the Truck Stop Queen. It's actually the figure of Cordelia from the Angel figure line. That's Buffy from Buffy. That is Cordelia from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then Angel, which I never watched. Yes, she's my main reference model, even though she's usually bigger than whatever I photograph her with. It can kind of vary by what kind of things I'm doing. So, the things to know about this is that a version of this was originally released in or around 1962 for a Marx playset, really already one of their somewhat later ones called Operation Moon Base. What you'll see is that it looks kind of like a cross between a stealth bomber and a space shuttle, which probably isn't far from the truth. And originally, and this is the most important thing to know, just in case someone's being dishonest, though it's not something that's been reported, if it is original, it's going to be blue. Not bright blue, not very dark blue, kind of a halfway between navy blue and sky blue, or a deeper sky blue. There'd also be some decals if they haven't come off. And then from there, all you really need to know is that the originals are very rare. I have a correspondent at the channel Space Trucks, or Steve Nyland has been his YouTube name. He's reported, and I would say it fits what I've seen and experienced, that they just aren't listed independently. If you find them at all, it's going to be with surviving playsets or reconstructed playsets. So just a chance to get one all on its own without a big price tag is worthwhile. And this is clearly a reissue. What's not entirely clear is where these are coming from, whether someone's making these things who got hold of the original molds, or just a back stock that was probably down in Mexico. It's probably from Mexico either way. Yes, so what you can see is that it's got this shape. The shape of the original is right about here. What seems to have happened is that this was reconfigured as a bomber, and at that point they were definitely trying to make it look like a stealth bomber. And it's really not too bad a job. The one major deviation, there were on the original a set of wings at the rear, or more like tail planes, to go with these, but they were just rectangular. They were not connected with this part. That was a modification of the mold, and I was just examining this model, that there's traces of markings that are more military. It says USA, and then it shows the USA Air Force logo. You should see something. You might or might not really see the logo in just a regular resolution video. And what it comes with is the other half of this. This is the underbelly, and it's supposed to fire missiles. And here are the missiles on a rack. There's a total of 6. 2 of them came off. They're still in the bag. Now, for the size of this thing, I've seen it listed as 5 inches long and 5 inches wide, which is, if anything, a bit of an understatement. Here it is with the truck stop queen. She is almost exactly 6 inches tall, maybe just a tiny bit more. And you can see here, it's not as tall as she is, but it's not a big difference either. And if anything, it's a bit wider than it is long, but still under the 6 inches. And I'm going to try assembling this. Now, I've seen at the Space Truck Steve Nyland channel, he had gotten this, but not tried to assemble it on camera. Now, I'm going to do this and just hope that it doesn't simply snap. Now, here's something a bit different. You can see the front of it here, but this is just open, empty. I don't know why. So you can see pegs where it goes together. Here is one of a pair of them. So I'm going to see just how easily they fit together. Okay, it's definitely coming together. I don't care for that clicking sound, but I can deal with it. Okay, it's pretty well together. Now you can see the back of this thing. This, from this angle, should look about right for the original. Looked at from the front, also things aren't too different, though here you see an open part of the fuselage. I've considered trying to use this to photograph, to go with stories of one kind or another. It should work, but you're going to have to use the right angles. So the back should work. The top should work. Underneath wouldn't be too bad. From the front, though, maybe not so good. And here's 2 of the missiles. Now, it really looks like the original would have had a firing mechanism, which is very interesting given how big a deal it was when the Mattel Battlestar Galactica toys did this. And another thing you can watch for if you're not sure what you're dealing with, all the pictures I've seen of the original have spaces above the missiles. I believe it might have been part of some kind of firing mechanism, but there's just no way to know without hearing a lot more from the people who still have vintage play sets that came with this. But this is all solid. The only space is with the cockpit here. So here I have one of the missiles in, and it would really make it look a bit better from the side. They didn't really fill in this part of the underside, and that definitely looks like something that would have been the same on the original models, whatever you call it, from Marx. But when you have the missiles in, it doesn't make as big a difference, because that's covering up at least a part of it, though you can still see bare connectors, whatever you call them, here and here. Yes. So overall, it's a very nice thing to have, and it's very convenient that people are getting these things out there. I got this for $10. The same people seem to have been offering them for similar prices for at least the last few years. How long that's going to continue isn't clear, and that will definitely depend on just what kind of find this was. Again, if they actually got the molds, or just if they'd found back stock from someone who had been reissuing Marx stuff. One thing that's not so good, there's some flash on the leading edge of the wings, and it's only this part of the wing. Everything else is very smooth, and that's another good indication that this, especially this part of it, was a very recent addition, probably after Marx had already gone out of business. And another thing about this I'll be documenting a bit further. I am absolutely satisfied that this was the basis for a spaceship that was released by Diener. When I can do a blog post about this, I'll go into that a bit further. So, this is about a length of a regular video for me. I may wait to post it till I have stuff up on the blog, or try to do them both simultaneously. So for now, I'm signing off. And again, if you can get hold of this for about the price I've mentioned, it's definitely worth it. Just be sure you aren't running into anyone who's presenting this as something it's not.